Feels like a gift, speeding down the lane. Victory's in our name. We win together, rain or shine. PHG forever, crossing the line. Wheels burn on the track. PHG is where it's at. Roads long and winding, but our team's always grinding. Underneath the starry sky, engines roar, we fly. Sweat beading on our brow. Teamwork's the key right now. We win together, rain or shine. PSG forever, crossing the line. Gasoline and fire, chasing every desire. Around the curves we go. Teamwork keeps our flow. Every gear we shift feels like a gift. Speeding down the lane, victory's in our name. We win together, rain or shine. PSG forever, crossing the line.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to round 6 of the GT PHG World Series, and this is season 2. In case you forgot, I am T Case, joined here in the booth with Mustang Chuck and Big Joe. Chuck, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing great, TK. How are you, good sir?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. And Big Joe, how are you?
Oh, you know me, TK, so I can't complain.
Can't complain, can't complain. I love it, I love it. Well, we are here, like I said, this is season 2, round 6 of the GT PHG World Series, and we got splits 1 and 3 for you tonight. But before we get into the racing tonight, our very own Toon did a recap video for us. So we're going to go ahead and take a recap of what happened 2 weeks ago at Spa in round 5.
Round 5 of the GT PHG WS saw our drivers at Spa-Francorchamps, where there was no shortage of racing action. Split 1 was an intense and drama-filled roller coaster right from the start, as there was contact which resulted in a couple cars spinning out as soon as the lights went green, which may have ruffled some feathers amongst those involved, but the drivers that avoided that must have been breathing a huge sigh of relief. Luckily, come the start of the second lap, everyone got their footing and the racing was nothing short of close for positions 6 through 11. The drivers knew they'd have to play it safe lest they lose multiple positions. Up at the front of the field, Jorge Sr. made a slipstream slingshot overtake on KP Wilcox and took P1 on the Camel. Jumping back further in the field, the racing was seriously close as a half-second penalty could have costed Velvet Thunder more than one position, which shows how close the racing really was. The close racing started to come to a head at the end of the lap as the drivers started to bunch up in the bus stop chicane, which caused a little bit of bumping and grinding as close racing often affords, and unfortunately some of the drivers lost control of their cars. Lap 9 brought not only nightfall but quite a bit of rain with it, which caused some problems for drivers that didn't make it into the pits in time to beat the rain, and as a result they struggled to finish the lap to change out the slicks and onto wet weather tires. After all was said and done, Jorge Sr. took another race victory for the record books. Split 2 started off a lot calmer than Split 1 did, and the racing was even closer than that of Split 1, with all the drivers remaining within slipstream range for quite a while throughout the race, so the racing was nothing short of edge-of-your-seat exciting for everyone involved in the race and watching along at home. As is the nature of close racing, pushing your car to the limits is a double-edged sword, as SCP wound up losing control of his car and unfortunately multiple positions in the process. Lap 9 once again brought the night and the rain, but that didn't slow down the drivers in Split 2 any, as the racing was door-to-door throughout the night. The drivers made sure that they left everything on the table come hell or high water for a chance to gain as many points as possible for their team in this split. Once the rain had left us, the sun had rose, and the track started to dry, Fast Cougar unfortunately couldn't catch a break, as a 3-second pit lane infringement was given an extra bit of insult to injury as his car loses control, hitting the wet side of the track serving his penalty, and he falls from P1 to P3 as a result. That sequence of unfortunate events allowed Flux Flare the ability to take the race victory for Split 2. With the final points available race underway, the start to Split 3 was nice and neat, with some drivers trying to capitalize on anyone who didn't have the best start. And speaking of best starts, Evolved wound up gaining 4 positions after Eau Rouge and Radion, but he wasn't done there by any means. Evolved would continue to fight his way up the field for the entirety of the race thanks to how close the racing was for a good portion of this split. There was plenty of action to be had just at the start of this race. Close racing is always high risk, high reward, and things can happen at a moment's notice, as we see T-Case get a slight tap that sends him into the gravel trap just outside of campus, costing him 2 positions. The battle for P6 was intense as Evolved and K-Dub were bumping and grinding out of campus, with both drivers fighting as hard as possible for their teams. A slight nudge would send K-Dub off into the grass at Stabilo 1, giving Evolved P6. Once night fell, the rain once again was causing problems for some drivers, but some others were unfazed by it, as the battle for P2 was heating up even throughout the night as Oak and Corn Identity raced on. After the sun came up and the track began to dry, however, Corn Identity had an unfortunate turn of events on his way to Brussels and was caught in a spin I think he imagined would never end. But he didn't let that break his stride, as he was right on Papa's tail trying to make up for lost ground on a partially dry track, doing everything he could to bounce back. Jersey took the race win, and with that, it's back to the booth.
Awesome, Toon. Great job. Shout out to Toon for putting that together and being the voice of our recap. That was fantastic. All right, boys, we're in it tonight. Let's see what we have going on. Tonight, we are at none other than the Temple of Speed, Monza. This is round 6 at Monza. We are doing 20 laps. Racing hards and racing mediums are required, and it is 2 times tire wear and 3 times fuel. And tonight we are in the Group 4 machinery. Again, this is a manufacturer's league. Therefore, you have to either use the Group 4 or Group 3 card, depending on the combo of the manufacturer you chose at the beginning of the season. If you guys are interested, pinned in the chat is a link to the Papa's House of Game website. More info there. You can still sign up and be a part of this league. So now that we've seen we're at the Temple of Speed, let's go and take a look at our manufacturers here. And Chuck, can you read us through our top 10 manufacturers?
Yes, sir, I can. So at the top of the list is Genesis with 473 points, followed right behind by BMW with 372, Ferrari at 261, Lamborghini with 222 in fourth, Mazda in fifth with 189 points, followed very closely by Nissan with 188. McLaren follows that in 7th place with 181 points. Porsche follows in 8th with 135. Chevrolet in 9th with 119 points. Toyota in 10th with 46 points. In 11th, we have Lexus with 33 points. In 12th, we have Honda with 25 points. In 13th, we have Citroen with 13 points. In 14th, we have Dodge with 24 points. After the cutoff, we have Renault with 17 points in 15th, and AMG in 16th with 14 points. Alfa Romeo in 17th with 1 point, and 0 for Audi in 18th, and 0 for AMG in 19th.
Right on. Shout out to Big Joe, Team Alpha there, right?
Sir,
Awesome. You guys are in there with that 1 point. Very nicely done. Yes, Genesis up on top, BMW in second. And I do see that some BMW drivers have skipped out on this one, being in the Group 4 BMW. However, we do have some drivers who have done well in the Group 4 BMW. Real quick, I'm going to go over the bonus points. So each split gets their own number of points, but we do have bonus points. The bonus points for each split goes to fastest overall qualifier, 5 points. Pole of your split, 5 points. Fastest lap of your split, 5 points. Most laps led of your split, 5 points, and if you lead one entire lap, you get 1 point. So that's another way to earn points for you, manufacturer, and for yourself. So tonight we have splits 1 and 3. Let's take a look at split 1. Big Joe, do you mind taking us through our split 1 drivers?
not a problem. We have Bojito in the Genesis. We have Racer 51 in the Mazda. We have KP Wilcox in the Honda. Papa Oso in the Lamborghini. JK85 also in the Lamborghini. Fellow broadcaster C-Dubs in the Genesis. We got Fast Cougar in the McLaren. We got Root in the Genesis. We got Corn Identity in the Genesis. We got Cornbread in the Mazda. We got Tussenbox, also fellow broadcaster, in the Dodge. McNaughty in the Lamborghini. We got Vetter Dan in the Chevrolet. And we have Pyro also in the Genesis.
Awesome. And I am seeing here from Shaggy, PHG Pyro cannot make it tonight, so Wade CBR is going to fill in for him. So that is good to see. Always good to have somebody available so we can still keep the full lobbies, because we all know full lobbies makes for full racing. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
And Big Joe, we have a sponsor now. Do you mind telling us a little bit about our sponsor, Lithograph Comics?
Yeah, our sponsor, Lithograph Comics, is a comic enthusiast, not an actual store. He likes bringing awareness to the hobby and to the comic book collecting community. You can locate him on Instagram. It's Greg, aka Litho. And there he shares comic book history, stories, and his own personal collection that's been spanning for 35 years. That's Lithograph Comics on Instagram.
Awesome. It's great to have a sponsor.
Yeah. I used to be into comics back in the day myself, mainly Star Wars comics. Kind of fell away for other hobbies, but cool to have a sponsor like that involved in our community.
Indeed.
My dad was a Ghost Rider comic book collector.
Oh, yeah, Ghost Rider. Yes.
Nice. And thank you, Dijon, for the $4.99 rubbing his racing. Also, thank you to Turbo at the start of the stream for that $19.99. Appreciate y'all's support. And Dijon is new to the league. He actually joined for this round. So welcome. We're happy to have you here. It is a lot of fun. I see we're going to be starting in about 3 minutes. Real quick on how this lobby or how this league works. Like I said, it is a manufacturer's league. But each week we have qualifying during the week for the races on the weekend. That's how you determine your split. So all of these drivers have already done a qualifying here at Monza. And based on how well they did, that determines their split. So these top split drivers all had very, very close times. I'm actually looking here, and they are within a second of each other around the Temple of Speed. It's a long track, but it goes by very quickly with all the long straights and the chicanes. Big Joe, you're taking part in this round. Tell us a little bit about what happened in your qualifying, if you don't mind.
My qualifying, my focus was all about hitting my braking points and getting through those chicanes as cleanly as I could and trying to maintain my speed. Because like you said, this is the Temple of Speed. It's all about how fast you can get around this track.
Indeed. And you are being in the Alpha. It's not the most powerful in a straight line, but getting in the slipstream around here definitely works. Chuck, if you were to be doing this race in these Group 4 cars, which car would you be in and why?
You know, I haven't driven a Group 4 car in a minute. I can tell you that I ran this same time trial in the AMG time trial event many times, and I can definitely, agree with you, Big Joe, when it comes to, getting through those chicanes cleanly. Getting the time that I got in the time trial really made me have to realize, hey, slow down on those chicanes, right? Like really slow down, especially in the first chicane, and in those double right-handers in what I would call the middle of the track. Don't take too much curb. Almost from my experience, it feels like maybe a late apex because it points you down the straight so you can lay on the gas. And then that last chicane that we're seeing right here, I think that's the first chicane. That last kind of bigger chicane. Don't be too greedy on that throttle because your back end will step out, and you'll be spinning around the track and ruin your lap.
Yes, indeed, and we saw that happen several times during qualifying. Especially in that last chicane, Ascari definitely can catch drivers out if they get too much on the green AstroTurf on the outside. Easy to spin around. Slipstream is strong. The drivers are allowed to use the slipstream and team up in qualifying. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of these drivers, especially teammates, we got a few CBR drivers, several PHG drivers in this round, wouldn't be surprised to see them work together and try to maximize their qualifying for the race. And that being said, qualifying has begun.
Really interested in seeing how better Dan does here. He's if I remember correctly, the only American car in the field, and everybody knows I'm big on my Mustangs, but I'm always happy if I see him.
Some boxes in the Viper.
Yeah, Tussin Box, aka Velvet Thunder, in the Viper.
Oh yeah,
he's in the Viper.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Well, let's take a quick look at these liveries here.
Watching both of them.
So we do have PHG C-Dubs with the Lithograph Comics. He's already got the sponsor on his car ready to go. I see myself on there, Papa, PHG, Marvel, and he is in that G70. KP Wilcox, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, they ended up having an unfortunate disconnect in their debut with the PHG World Series. You guys remember?
Don't quite recall, honestly.
Yeah, that might have been when I was in Communicado for a while.
Yeah.
That was 6 rounds ago.
Somebody will know in chat. Racer 51 in the Anime Mazda. Mazda 3 around here is going to be interesting when it comes to tire wear. It is quick in a straight line, and we definitely saw that. McNaughty also got the Lithograph livery going in RL. Good to see McNaughty taking part. He's been getting involved in more and more leagues. I see Lithograph is in the chat. Welcome, welcome. Good to have you, and thank you. Another fellow commentator, Velvet Thunder, aka Tussenbox. The plan is for him to join us in commentating after this race for Split 3. He's in the Viper, MMR, Moose, Mafia Racing. Looking good. Bobagito. Mrs. Cornbread. Oh, rest in peace, Mrs. Cornbread. We're sorry for your loss. Another Cornbread. The Mexican flag looks nice. PHG C-Dubs, we looked at him. Vetter Dan in his Salamander design livery, and then adding some Vetter Dan touches. The Cheater route in the Dubby G70. Fast Cougar in the Castrol Racing McLaren. I like the colors on this. Ooh, that's
That's
fun.
pretty cool.
Papa Oso in the blacked out Lamborghini, followed by JK85, also in the Lamborghini, Team CBR. And we got Wade in the Ferrari. Looks like they're all running some form of homage to Mrs. Cornbread. As we see corn identity in the Genesis. So sorry for your loss, Cornbread community. Good to see y'all working together and representing together in your liveries. So it looks like Racer 51's about to get started here. How long do you think these front tires are going to last, Chuck?
I don't know. I really honestly don't know. A while since I've participated in a tire wear race. Obviously, it's going to really kick the Mazda's butt with the weight being on the front tires and that your grip tires going into the turns. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Yes, indeed. And we did see some drivers opting to pit for fresh tires and not refueling. Other drivers just running the whole thing on what they've got, and others resetting to the pit. So we'll have kind of a few options. We imagine everybody will be on the soft tires here for qualifying, but the race, it is mediums and hards, as it looks like McNaughty has picked up a 1-second penalty for cutting the chicane.
So easy to do in these chicanes here, especially that first one if you're not careful.
Indeed. And KP Wilcox did set the fastest time so far of 59.2. That is not quite as fast as his fastest qualifying during the week, but it is up there. So McNaughty's lap is definitely going to be ruined. We'll hop back up and see what kind of lap, as Racer 51 currently in P3 with a 159.331. As he comes around Parabolica using all of the track, we're going to see him run pretty wide, touching the green, and then cut back across and get on the other green, ignoring that white line. As he comes across the line with a 59.236, that puts him up into P2. Velvet Thunder coming into the pits, already on the soft, so I imagine they're going to get a fresh set of softs and let the fuel keep going. Fast Cougar coming around to finish their lap, currently in P7 as Root goes across the line. Root gets a 2-minute .311. Not able to improve his Fast Cougar, and look at this, leading the charge is Vetterdan. And all those drivers behind are going to take full advantage of that slipstream. There's quite a bit of time for the drivers behind, and this is the track where dirty air isn't going to hurt you too bad. Maybe in the final sector is the only time you're going to get hurt too bad from that dirty air. So we'll stay on board with Vetterdan, who is currently not improving, but right on average of what they've been able to run. And he picks up a penalty. That is unfortunate. We'll go to the car behind in Bobagito. So this is really going to help Bobagito out. He's going to get full advantage of that slip, and then that penalty is going to get Vetterdan out of the way. Bobagito currently sitting in P5 with a 159.319. A lot of 159.3s. KP Wilcox with the 159.973. That is slightly faster than his time in qualifying during the week, as we see Bobagito go purple. Not by much, but definitely taking advantage of the slipstream. And hopefully he doesn't quite catch him before the penalty line. Doesn't look like he's going to. Drives right through him. And this is going to be a really good lap. It looks like he does have some traffic up ahead. C-Dubs following through. McNaughty getting out of the way. Prepping for another flying lap, I imagine. coming around. He keeps it very tight. Both Genesis do. A lot of times people like to run wide there, but Bovigito carrying the momentum in P5. That moves him up to pole. Very nicely done. C-Dub's unable to improve.
Just amazing to me how much, based on where the point standings are, how much it seems that Genesis looks like they are dominating this season right now with how many points they have.
Yes, indeed. It's because they have a solid... Well, the Group 3 car is very fast but hard to drive, but most of these drivers are skilled enough to drive it. And then the Group 4 car has been pretty dominant all the way around, especially with the all-wheel drive. So McNaughty backed out of that last lap, making way to the faster drivers. Currently behind Vetterdan on track, unable to improve in the first sector, going through the second chicane, coming up to Lesmo 1. And I don't know that he'll be able to improve, but he is about to get all the slipstream help from Vetterdan ahead of him. Vetterdan again in P13. He was a victim of track limits penalty on that last lap. So let's see here as McNaughty continues down the straight, the all-wheel drive Lamborghini. We were commenting Wednesday night during qualifying, when you get the Lamborghini tucked up behind the Genesis, the Lamborghini looks very, very small in comparison to the Genesis. It's quite humorous.
It kind of reminds me of when NASCAR went to Le Mans.
Yeah.
A couple years back, and you got the old NASCAR stock car sitting next to all these Le Mans prototypes, and it's Godzilla. It's a giant.
Yep. It sure is, and it looks like Bobagito CBR was able to take pole with a 1:58.932. Is McNaughty able to improve? He is not, and that is the end of qualifying. It looks like we do have a few drivers coming through. Anybody else able to improve? Oh, Wilcox in P2 ends up getting a half-second penalty, but the lap is over, so that is Wilcox in P2, Racer 51 in P4. So CBR on top. Very nice. They are racing with a purpose tonight. I have a feeling we'll see some teamwork as the race goes on. So, Big Joe, as someone who's going to be participating in this race, any insight into strategy?
Me, no. My strategy is going to be to run my hards for probably 3 or 4 laps, pit, put gas in, throw on my mediums, and finish out the race.
I mean, that sounds like a plan. And you're in the Alpha, which is notoriously good on tires, so
Yeah.
you will have that. I think the Mazda...
I do have the requirement of changing tires, so that's the only reason I'm pitting to change tires.
Exactly. Otherwise, you would run that whole thing on whichever tire you so chose.
Yep.
But I think we're going to see the Mazda 3 struggle. I think we'll see the Genesis struggle a bit on tires, but the rest of these cars are typically going to do pretty okay. Big Joe, will you read us through our qualifying standings, please?
Absolutely. In pole position, we have Bobagito. In second, we have KP Wilcox. In third, we have Racer 51. In fourth, we have Cornbread. In fifth, we have C-Dubs. In sixth, we have McNaughty. Seventh place, we got Fast Cougar. In eighth, we got Papa Oso. In ninth, we got JK85. Finishing out the top 10 is fellow broadcaster Velvet Thunder. 11th, we have Root. 12th, we have Corn Identity. 13th, we have Vetterdan. 14th, we have Wade.
And look at that. Second between P1 and P14. Wow.
Crazy.
Wow.
This is going to be good.
P1 through
Be
3,
real good.
less than a tenth. I mean, this is going to be tight. It is
Buckle
going.
up, chat. Buckle up.
Yes, this is going to be, especially these first couple of laps. It's going to be. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting to say the least. So again, everybody needs to use mediums and hards. I doubt we'll see the softs unless somebody's going for a fastest lap towards the end if their race has been ruined and they want that extra bonus point. They can definitely go after that by getting the fastest lap. We've seen that a few times, and I'm excited to see how this one goes. It'll be interesting to see what everybody starts on, because obviously the times are close, so there is a pretty big difference between mediums and hards, especially when it comes to turn one at Monza. Those hards are going to be not very warm and a bit slidey. So it'll be interesting to see if everybody makes it through cleanly. Chuck, what tire? If you're in the top 5, what tire are you starting on?
I'm in the top 5. I'm probably starting on medium tires just to try to stick with guys up front and figure out the strategy as the race progresses, and not waste that starting position that I have with my qualifying position.
Indeed. Yeah, I imagine we'll see something like that. We have seen it in the past, people just doing a little bit of a shake-up, especially when it comes to the hard tires, wanting to get off of them as quick as possible. But yeah, like you said, being up at the front, you want to take full advantage, especially at Monza, where if you get out of the train, you get out of that slipstream chain, you're not in a group, you're going to struggle to catch back up. But going into turn 1 here, it is brutal. It is chaos. And the best thing about Monza is if everybody makes it through the first chicane, that means the second chicane is going to be wild. Always works out that way. So if we get all through the first chicane without any MDKs, I think we're in for a treat for the second chicane. And then we'll start to see how these strategies play out. It looks like we are about to get started here. Everybody ready to go? I'm ready to go. Let me get all my settings right.
See, I think chaos is going to erupt into 2 right-handers.
Okay.
There's going to be a lot of people sent into the sand by people trying to get by.
Yes, I can see that as well. And like Chuck was saying, it is a late apex, especially into that first one if people dive down the middle. And we are off, and it looks like people are already making moves, going up to 4 wide in the background. This is amazing. Bobagito on the mediums has pulled himself a pretty good gap as we come into the braking zone. We'll get a good view here, and there's already contact between Racer 51 and C-Dubs. More contact to follow, and it has bunched up quite a bit back there. And we will jump back 1 vehicle so we can be a little closer as Bobagito has taken away. I did flag that for a replay, so we'll go back and take a look at the first chicane.
Yeah,
it looks like it
benefiting Bobagito.
Definitely benefiting Bobagito, absolutely. And C-Dubs has fallen back to P4, and it looks like we're getting through the second chicane a little bit more cleanly than we got through that first chicane. As we look back through here, it is tightened up all the way back as they go through Lesmo 1, coming into Lesmo 2. And it looks like Root up the inside of JK85, getting that move done. We'll go back up further ahead. Racer 51 now almost 2 seconds behind Bobagito. Racer 51 with GI KP Wilcox not too far behind him, followed by C-Dubs, who was a victim of the unfortunate contact. And let's go back and take a look at that start of the race as we will go on board with C-Dubs and see what happened here. So here we are at the start of the race, coming down into the chicane. You can see, there was they tagged each other. There was 3 cars, Cornbread and those in front, all bumped into each other, which pushed Racer 51 into C-Dubs. So that clearly was not Racer 51's issue. It came from further back. Would you agree with that, Joe?
Yes, I would, TKs.
And it looks like
That's exactly like what happened.
so C-Dubs now wanting to make up some space. He does have Cornbread in the Mazda right behind him. Not a lot of space in between the two, and then just further back, Corn Identity, and then Fast Cougar as well. Ignati up into P8. Bobagito still in the lead, followed by Racer 51 and KP Wilcox. Chuck, what are you thinking about this first lap so far?
That was definitely a wild start. Looking back at that replay, definitely some contact. I'm not sure on my end if it was netcode or if it was just guys racing real close trying to get through that first chicane, but there's a reason why that first chicane is a meme in the Gran Turismo community, if you take my meaning.
Absolutely. Looks like we got a little more action further back with Fast Cougar with a half-second penalty, and then Root, who got by McNaughty. McNaughty now tucked into his slipstream as they come up to the final chicane into Ascari. Potentially McNaughty being able to take advantage of
The
a
heck of a
mistake.
slipstream for the Ferrari
Oh.
behind that Genesis.
Indeed, and McNaughty runs a little wide, experiencing some of that dirty air that we were talking about. That gives him a half-second penalty, which Velvet Thunder is going to thoroughly enjoy. If he's not able to get by him on this lap, he definitely will at the end. So you come around to finish lap 2, and so far it's looked like everyone has been on the mediums. Have y'all noticed anybody on the hards?
I have not, but that is interesting that everybody is running the mediums to start off with.
Well, we say
Very
that.
interesting.
Vetterdan just enters the pits. He is on the hards. And look how tight these three drivers are. And Velvet Thunder sends it. He's trying to get a 2-for-1 special on the inside. That puts him on the outside. Can he keep it on the track, get the power down? Root is in all-wheel drive. He has McNaughty behind him, but now Velvet Thunder on the inside, and it looks like they have a slow-moving car up ahead as well. Velvet Thunder trying to make this move stick. Root is going to be on the inside of this next chicane, and C-Dubs now blocking the way for Velvet Thunder. That's going to allow Root back through. Root's going to try to make a move on C-Dubs. Can he get the job done? Root gets the job done. Velvet Thunder ahead of McNaughty. Let's take a look at that again. That was interesting to say the least. So we ride on board with Root. We can take a look here. You can see Velvet Thunder would have had a run, but C-Dubs just in his way. Root able to hit the apex. There's plenty of space given. Able to get ahead. Well done to Root. It was looking like he was about to lose a position and ends up gaining one. So now Root...
You're talking about how clean that was, TK. It's just a testament to, the PHG community and everybody who is involved in this league with how clean we always try to run each other, because that's the name of the game, right? Good hard racing, but make it clean.
Absolutely. PHG, great racers, better people. And that includes our other teams in this league, such as CBR, RSR, MMR, all those good people coming in, racing hard, racing clean. As C-Dubs is looking to try and get that position back from Root. Team Genesis, will they work together? Or is C-Dubs going to make a move going into the first chicane? Big Joe, what do you think?
I think he's going to try to make a move.
He's trying to make a move. He's going up the inside. They are going side by side. C-Dubs late on the brakes. Is he going to make the turn? He goes a little deep, but no, he is able to keep on it. But now Root getting a better exit as they go around the long right-hander. Looks like Root is going to tuck back in and try to go again into the second chicane. I love the options you're able to get here. Sometimes it takes a while to make a move stick, as we saw Velvet Thunder attempting to take 2 positions last lap. It looks like Root thinks better of it, tucks back in, as they go through the second chicane and they get another fine exit. Let's go look further ahead in the field, see what other battles we have going on, as the battle for P4 is heating up as Cornbread has gotten ahead of KP Wilcox. And now KP Wilcox is under threat from Corn Identity as well as PHG Fast Cougar. Wilcox in the lone NSX in this round on the racing hards in 4th place, so that would make sense why he has lost the position if he's on the hards and his competitors are on the mediums. No, Corn Identity is on the hards, but Fast Cougar is on the mediums. Fast Cougar in the McLaren, wanting to take advantage of his tires. Gonna follow this long train into Parabolica. The exit here is crucial if you want to try to make a move going into turn 1. And as we've seen, it's not easy when you have a 1-2 chicane there. As KP Wilcox goes into the pits to get off the hards, that promotes Fast Cougar up into P5 and Corn Identity into P4. Let's ride on board here and see as he goes to make the move. We look to the left. He's already ahead as they go into the braking zone. Can he get it stopped? Hits the first apex. Oh, nice and clear of Corn Identity. Gets on the power, and there's nothing Corn Identity can do. Has to concede the position.
I'll buckle up.
This is some tight, close racing as driver on the mediums, one driver on the hards. Corn Identity trying to go up the inside, can't quite get in there before the apex. Fast Cougar able to stay ahead, but looks like Corn Identity gets a better exit. Now going down the inside into Lesmo 1. Is he able to get the exit? They stay side by side into Lesmo 2. He's trying to get ahead, not quite ahead, and there he has it. He is ahead. That was very nice move by Corn Identity. Go back and look at this again. He just gets ahead, able to get on the brakes and move forward. Fast Cougar still on the back of him. It is not over yet. Not too far back. Looks like Root has pulled away from C-Dubs. And now Velvet Thunder is catching up to C-Dubs there for the battle for P7, and not too far behind McNaughty. So this, or really battle for P6 is still alive as we're about to start lap 6. These drivers on the racing mediums. How long do we think they're going to go on these mediums, Joe?
At least halfway, probably.
At least halfway, so we're looking roughly.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, and a lap 10. Maybe some of these cars with a little bit better tire wear push it a little further.
11, 12, I would have to say.
I'm going to go back up to the closest battle here to Fast Cougar and Corn Identity. Two very different cars. We got the McLaren, which is mid-engine, rear-wheel drive, and then we have the Genesis G70, which is all-wheel drive with the engine up front. Now, typically, the all-wheel drive car is going to have worse tire wear, but he is on the hards, whereas Fast Cougar's on the mediums, and we're seeing that power from the Genesis coming into play. Even though they are on different tire compounds, it doesn't seem to matter. Or maybe Corn Identity is just that quick. I wouldn't be surprised.
Insert Jeremy Clarkson's speed and power meme here.
Exactly. Insert meme here.
Root's catching them now, too.
Indeed. I wonder now, Joe, I know you didn't do a ton of testing, but is fuel an issue here?
I don't think so.
Okay. And yeah, sure enough, Root has definitely caught up. We'll ride on top of his bonnet here and see just how close he is. 2/10 on another Genesis teammate. So he's already gotten by one in C-Dubs. Root is on a mission on the medium. C-Dub, or Corn Identity, is on the hards. So same car, different compound, so we definitely will see that. And it does look like Root has burned more fuel than some of the other drivers, as I think we might see Corn Identity peel off into the pits. Yes, we do. There goes Corn. Now it's up to Root to try to catch up to Fast Cougar, as C-Dubs is over a second away, not able to get in the slipstream. I want to go up ahead and see what's going on with Racer 51. Has he been able to catch Bobagito? And no, he has not. Bobagito.
That first chicane, that series of incidents there, that really Bobagito. He's checked out and gone.
And Cornbread has not checked out. He took full advantage of that incident going into turn 1. Up into P3 now, and they are in the same machinery here. 2 Mazda 3s, both on medium tires. Fuel's looking about the same, and not too far behind, we got Fast Cougar with Root applying the pressure. Root, of course, inherited P4 when his fellow Genesis driver went into the pits. Both on the mediums, him and Fast Cougar. C-Dubs now within a second, so everyone in the slipstream as they go down, approaching Ascari, and it looks like McNaughty is actually the closest to anyone in that cluster. McNaughty not too far off Velvet Thunder. See what he can do. Keep it clean, keep it smooth, get a good exit. Of course, with our sponsor, Lithograph Comics, on the side of his lovely Lamborghini. Big shout out to Lithograph. Thank you for sponsoring. So Root now fully on the... I can get the camera that I want on the rear bumper of Fast Cougar. Fast Cougar seeing nothing but a big old Genesis in his mirror. And it looks like Root is going to be close enough. No, he gives him a bump. He's working with Fast Cougar. That's PHG teamwork we're seeing right there. Instead of slowing himself down, I think he can see Cornbread further up ahead and thinks, hey, if we work together, we can get these guys. Wouldn't you agree, Chuck?
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I think it's been well established. That's one of my favorite tactics to do, is get up in somebody's rear view. But at the same time, you know, it's a judgment call you've got to make as he goes and does another bump draft here. He's definitely thinking strategically and trying to, you know, increase both of their positions and helping each other out.
Absolutely, and it's good to note both of them did check up on the brakes a little early, because one thing that tends to happen is you forget that you're carrying a lot more speed when you're in the slip of the driver in front of you and you're bump drafting them. Both drivers are carrying a lot more speed, and it's so easy to make a mistake and outbrake yourself. So good on them working together, trying to get that much closer to Cornbread up ahead. Currently the gap is 6.2 seconds up to Cornbread. So they've got a lot of work to do, but already 4/10 up on their fastest lap is Fast Cougar with those bumps from Root. Let's go back up and see how Cornbread is doing. Very much on the back of Racer 51. I would imagine these two guys, though they are not teammates, they are manufacturer teammates, working together, get as many points for Team Mazda as possible. Not as many drivers driving the Mazda, so a little tricky to get points. But if they work together, much like Root and Fast Cougar, that can allow them to catch Bobagito. But I mean, it's going to be hard to catch Bobagito. And look, almost in unison on the brakes. Very nicely done. It's hard to see when you're tucked in that close to the car in front of you. It's so easy to make a mistake. And good on them for keeping it together there. I know I am guilty. Yeah,
I'll agree to that, TK. Is that, you know, you got the car up in front of you, you can't see your braking points like you normally would. Not to mention you and likely the car in front of you, if you've been bump drafting them, are going faster than would. You gotta. It's the best way I can describe it is use the force to figure out, okay, when do I brake?
Yep. Yep. I always err on I try to err on the side of caution. Sometimes I get caught out. And we see Racer 51's got his wipers on, but I promise you, y'all, there is no rain. There is no rain. And it looks like Bobagito's still able to pull away from them, largening his gap almost to 8 seconds. So Bobagito just on another planet right now, really.
One might say he's an alien.
An alien. And go back and look at how tight this has gotten. Root, C-Dubs, Fast Cougar, all three bumper to bumper. 2 Genesis pushing on a McLaren. All PHG. All PHG. All on the racing mediums. It looks like McNaughty was able to get ahead of Velvet Thunder back there. So McNaughty up into P7 now. As Root looks up the inside. And no, he hangs on to it. C-Dubs now looking to make a move. Following now in the slipstream. Fast Cougar cuts back across, now puts Root in the slipstream. Let's take a look at this from Fast Cougar's perspective here. Root now in Fast Cougar slipstream coming up to the braking zone. C-Dubs being later on the brakes, doesn't overshoot it. Is able to get past Root there into the first chicane. Oh, and Root gets a second penalty. That is unfortunate. Let's go back and look at that one more time. See exactly how that happened. C-Dub sends it up, gets it stopped, and it looks like right there. Yep, absolutely, Chuck. Unfortunately, gets that penalty. And it looks like they get through the second chicane cleanly. That's really going to hurt Root. It's going to probably allow McNaughty to catch up and get in the slipstream, which will be a huge advantage to him and Velvet Thunder. As we come around the Lesmo corners, the 2 right-handers that always seem to catch me out in a long race. I can do them most of the time, and then at some point, I don't. Now,
right.
Joe, you were thinking that potentially around midway, as we do see C-Dubs making a move on Fast Cougar into a Ascari. You do not see that too often. Hold on one second. As C-Dubs ends up with the penalty, and that's going to allow Fast Cougar back ahead. I want to see how that happened here. And it looks like he gets the slipstream, sends it. Where does he get the penalty? He goes too deep, just a little too late on the brakes.
I was warning about earlier is, you cook it too hard into that. You said it was called a Ascari,
yes.
Right? Yeah, you cook it too hard into a Ascari, and you're going to end up going wide. That's another thing. You got to hit it just right, and you're either going to spin it or you're going to go too.
Absolutely. As Fast Cougar tries to go up the inside, C-Dub sticks it around the outside. Well done. Further back, wheel to wheel, McNaughty and Velvet Thunder. A little bit of rubbing, but it looked good to me. McNaughty able to stay ahead. That was 2 side-by-sides through the first chicane. As we come into the second chicane, is Velvet Thunder going to try again? Let's see what happens.
Never hurt nobody.
Yeah. Let's see what happens here. Into the braking zone. No, Velvet Thunder thinks better of it. I want to go back and look at that one more time as we had several drives. Look at how clean that is. They did, yeah, that wasn't really contact. That was just good side-by-side racing. Well done by all drivers involved. Okay, what I was saying, Big Dro, is we were thinking around halfway through drivers were going to pit. We are now halfway through, coming up at the end of this lap.
Some drivers have pitted, but now I think because of all this tight racing, they're not going to want to get on them hards anytime soon. They're going to go as long as they can on those mediums.
And the medium tires are looking good. I would say that the Mazda is probably going to be the worst on tires, and Racer 51's tires look just fine. Based
and we're
on
probably going to see lap 18, lap 19
Yeah.
pit stops now.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
That'll go to one lap on the hards.
And that's what we saw Vetterdan. So it'll be interesting to see Vetterdan, who started towards the back, started on the hards and pitted straight away for the mediums. We did see a few other drivers on the hards as well, already boxed for mediums. And Racer 51 and Cornbread continuing to work together, but to no avail, as Bobagito is just way off in the distance. But the way these two drivers are driving bumper to bumper like that, and that car is very impressive.
And that gap looks like it just keeps increasing for Bobagito. He's out there in his own world. He doesn't have to push. He can kind of just chill and, run his own race much easier now that he has that much of an advantage.
Indeed. And while we were looking at the top three up there, it looks like Velvet Thunder was able to get back by McNaughty and now has a 2.5 second gap. So we may have had an issue at some point in Lesmo 1 and 2 where McNaughty ended up falling further behind. Speaking of drivers who have already pitted, that would be Wilcox, and P9 is on these mediums, and he plans on taking them to the end. Further back, we have Papa Oso on the mediums, followed by JK85. Then we have Corn Identity, which is another driver who boxed, and Vetterdan in P13 with Wade CBR bringing up the rear in P4. Bobagito again leading that charge, just continuing to pull on these two Mazdas here.
What was it before he was knocking on the door 8 seconds, and now he's knocking on the door of 9 seconds.
Yep.
The lead.
And all the squabbling between Root, C-Dubs, and Fast Cougar has just allowed Cornbread and Racer 51 to pull away, really giving them plenty of space, as now Fast Cougar has fallen back a bit, and the power of that Genesis is being shown as the two Genesis drivers work together. But will one of them go up the inside? They seem to like fighting more than they like working together. Let's see if that continues. And no, they stay in line. I think they figured out that they lose too much time trying to go side by side into the chicane. And it looks like Root got a little bit better exit than C-Dubs, as Fast Cougar is now on the bumper of C-Dubs. We're now on lap 13 of 20. This is the top split of Season 2, Round 6 of the GT/PHG World Series. I'm T-Case. I'm joined here with Big Joe and Mustang Chuck. We also, after this race, have Split 3 coming up, and our very own Velvet Thunder, aka Tussenbox, who's racing in this race, will hop into the booth to join us. Chuck, do you mind telling people about what's on the side of C-Dub's car? Lithograph Comics, our newest sponsor.
Yes, sir. I'll do it for you. So, Lithograph Comics is not a store, but rather a comic book enthusiast, bringing awareness to the hobby and the comic book collecting community. Located on Instagram, you'll find Greg, aka Litho, sharing comic book history, stories, and his personal collection spanning a 35-plus year comic book journey. That's Lithograph Comics on Instagram.
Awesome. Thank you very much. So cool to see the community getting involved. And hold up, y'all. What's going on with C-Dub's fuel? Is that a lobby glitch? No. C-Dubs is going to have to pit for fuel.
Ooh, no.
He might get another lap. No, he's going in. Now, I haven't been paying attention to fuel at all. So let's go through the field. Bobagito. Looks like he's got probably 2 more laps. So he's going to be good.
That's the
That answers your question from earlier, T-Case.
That does.
If fuel's going to be an issue, apparently it is.
It is, and look how good Racer 51 and Cornbread. So they'll be able to go till almost the end, get more laps on these mediums. As
The car that's supposed to have the worst wear of tires doing the best on them so far.
And I wonder if they've been taking it easy.
Yeah, that's the fatal flaw of the Genesis, I would like to think, is, going back to what I was talking about, how they've been dominating so far, and they've been doing, well in this race. All that being said, fuel mileage is a factor.
Indeed.
You just have to stay tuned and see how this all shakes out.
And it
Does
looks...
speed and power win the day, or does good, calm strategy win the day?
Indeed. I think the Genesis seems to be the only one really struggling with the fuel, as Corn Identity has pitted and refueled in their pit stop. It looks like we got a good battle here for P9. Corn Identity behind Papa Oso with JK85 just behind them. Vetterdan and then Wade there in the background. So we got some CBR guys catching up on Papa Oso as they come up to Ascari. Is somebody going to make a move? Or are we staying in line? We are staying in line. Very nicely done. Nice and smooth. Keeping it on track. It'll be interesting when these front runners pit. Obviously, he's not going to catch up to Bobagito, who's 45 seconds ahead. But to some of these other drivers, the ones who pitted early, it might even out. Especially with all the fighting we've seen up ahead. As we see Root
Getting fuel.
into the pits.
Going on his hards.
And that promotes Wilcox into P7. He is already pitted, so we won't imagine him going any further back. And all the drivers in front need to pit. With McNaughty, Velvet Thunder, and Fast Cougar. So we could see Wilcox, he started, I believe, P4 it was, somewhere around there, making his way back up. As the two Mazda drivers are still bumper to bumper, working their way. Now, almost 11 seconds behind Bobagito, who is
Somebody should tell them that their plan's not working. They're not catching the leader.
They're not catching the leader, but Bobagito's going to have to pit and fuel up. They're definitely not going to have to pit or fuel up as much as Bobagito is going to have to refuel. And with the tire wear, they might be able to now open it up on those mediums. And
yeah, how long's pit road on this track? Well, we're about to find out.
Yep. I mean, they'll catch them on the pit, but
they're still going to have to pit as well.
yeah,
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to come. Let's see what kind of gap they end up pulling. They were
We'll
almost.
see. We'll see who wants to for the lap lead.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, looks like Cornbread wants that point.
Cornbread's going to dive up the inside. Can he get it stopped? He does. And there he goes. And we'll see Bobagito is 12 seconds behind. So about 22, 23 second pit stop.
Fast Cougar still has to pit too, right?
Yes, Fast Cougar still has to pit as well. So 13.7 seconds, and they were almost 11 seconds. So almost 24 seconds. 24, 25 second pit stop there. So now Cornbread in the lead, going for that laps led.
Because Bobagito's already earned the 5 for the most laps.
Yep. Bobagito definitely
A
has
bit wide there.
most laps led. Bobagito also currently has fastest lap.
That's a slap. Yeah.
So there's some points there, and they'll have a pole position point as well. These two drivers come around. About to end lap 16 of 20. Both these drivers have yet to pit. Their fuel is still looking just fine. They will have to fuel less, and they're getting more laps on these mediums than Bobagito did. We'll go back and take a look. Has Bobagito caught Fast Cougar? Go ahead, Joe.
I don't think they're going to pit until 18.
Yeah, I agree. With the way those Mazdas are running, I could see them hanging on. Bobagito has caught Fast Cougar. He is on fresh hards, just over a quarter tank of fuel. Fast Cougar has not pit yet, does not need to pit yet. I could see him pitting on the next lap just due to fuel alone. And not too far behind is Velvet Thunder, who also still needs to pit. So this is going to look really good for KP Wilcox sitting in P7, already having taken his pit stop. Should not have to pit again for fuel. No,
How about you guys? But I'm going for a Velvet Thunder here, man. Got that big old Funkin' American V10 up there, and you know, working on the top 5. Hoping he can pull out a good finish.
Absolutely. A lot of the other drivers still have to pit as well, and he has moved his way up above. I'm curious where Corn Identity was one of those drivers to pit a little bit early on, currently sitting behind Papa Oso, ahead of JK85. I can't remember if Papa Oso and JK have pit or not. I'm guessing they have not, based on their tire wear. So we could see Corn Identity moving up a little bit as well. We see Root, who is pit. He is now on the hards, ahead of Vetterdan, who was the first driver to pit. And then we have C-Dubs, followed by Wade, bringing up the rear. So Racer 51 now back in the lead. I wonder if they're swapping back and forth, leading laps. Make sure they both get a lap led. They both get a point for Mazda. Yeah.
And then we'll pit after this one.
Yep, we'll get them one more lap as they continue to work together. And what kind of gap do they have on Bobagito? Still about a 13.6 second gap to Bobagito, so Bobagito not really able to gain on Racer 51 or Cornbread, but nor has Cornbread or Racer 51 really been able to pull ahead of Bobagito.
They're still on their mediums too.
Yep. So they'll come out on the hards, and I can't imagine that Mazda is very fun on the hards.
Behind Bobagito, they'll come out.
Yep.
On their hards.
Yep. And then they'll have KP Wilcox to deal with, because he'll be right there as they come out of their pits.
On their cold hards.
So that's what we're going to do. As we know, these two drivers are going to pit. We're going to go back here with KP Wilcox and see where he comes out in relation to Cornbread and Racer 51. As I imagine we'll see Velvet Thunder, McNaughty, and Fast Cougar go into the pits as well.
Yep.
As he comes through the second chicane. Well, actually, we'll go up a little further ahead where there's a slight sliver of action. There we go. So, ooh, Fast Cougar is cutting it close on that fuel. That is very, very low.
He's going to have to save. He's definitely going to have to save.
In fuel map 6 right now.
Oh my goodness.
Praying.
Fuel map 6 and saving. Short shifting is what I would be doing, but Bobagito coming right up his chuff, it's going to be a all order.
So Cornbread in the pits. Racer 51 stays out. Racer 51 staying out for one more lap. Bobagito will inherit the lead. Let's go back here now with KP Wilcox and see if he comes out ahead of Cornbread. That's what I am anxious to see, as he is now passing the pits. Cornbread is on the hards and coming out of the pits as well. No, Cornbread stays ahead. KP Wilcox ahead of Fast Cougar, Velvet Thunder, and McNaughty. Racer 51 staying out. KP is 25.4 seconds behind as, oh no, Cornbread!
Oh no!
Let's see what happened there.
His cold hearts.
As he comes out of the pits,
Bet on it.
too late on the brakes, and they just don't get slowed down.
Yep.
Oh, that is unfortunate. That is
No.
unfortunate. So what I was saying before, so 25.2 seconds behind Racer 51. That's roughly a pit stop. That's roughly a pit stop. If he's able to close it even more, he could jump Racer 51 when Racer 51 pits, and it looks like he is applying that pressure, able to close that gap as Racer 51 is running low on fuel. He's going to have to make
He
it
has
around.
to pit now.
Yeah, gonna have to pit now as we are about to start the final lap. Looking back through the field, Cornbread. Oh, that's so unfortunate. They were having a solid race. Papa Oso, followed by Corn Identity. There goes Racer 51 into the pits. Everybody running low on fuel. Just having to go one more lap. Is KP Wilcox going to get ahead of Racer 51? Racer 51 had 1% of fuel left. 1%. They are on the hards coming out of the pits. Only took 7% of fuel as KP Wilcox starts the final lap. And no! Coming out ahead is Racer 51. Is he going to make the same mistake that Cornbread did? Get on the brakes, get the car slowed down. No, he does it beautifully. Able to maintain P2. Nice. Wilcox in P3. We'll go back to this battle here between Corn Identity, Papa Oso, and JK85. Wow, that is tight. As further back with Velvet Thunder, C-Dubs, and Root. They've been battling all race long. Slightly different strategies, but still coming out on this final lap, fighting tooth and nail, trying to get one up on the other. I love when different strategies come together like that. That is just my absolute favorite. We are coming around. It is the final lap. And it looks like Papa Oso is going to maintain this P5 as we come around Lesmo 2. Bobagito way out ahead. And it does look like Wilcox has caught up a little bit to Racer 51, but still 1.2 seconds back. But now is going to be in the slipstream on the mediums, whereas Racer 51 is on the hards. But it seems like too little too late as Bobagito is coming around Parabolica to finish the race in dominant form. Fastest lap, most laps led, pole position. Beautifully done. Racer 51 only half a second ahead of Wilcox coming in at P2. Wilcox P3. Cornbread unfortunate with that pit exit, still finishing P4. Very respectable. Papa Oso only a 10th ahead of Corn Identity, then JK85. Then we have Fast Cougar. Vetterdan ahead of Root. Vetterdan making some moves there at the end. Wade, CBR, C-Dubs, McNaughty, and Velvet Thunder. Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. Some stuff happened there at the end, I believe.
Yeah, like, what was it? Third, fourth, and fifth was a really close finish. I think it was.
Very, very, very close. Let's
Yeah.
flip through here. Go ahead and take us through the order here, Chuck.
Yeah, so first place we've got Bobagito in the Genesis, and in second PHG Racer 51 in the Mazda. And third we've got Wilcox, KP Wilcox in the NSX. In fourth we've got Cornbread in the Mazda. In fifth, we've got Papa Oso in the Lambo. In sixth, we've got Corn Identity in the Genesis. In seventh, we've got JK85 in the Lambo. In eighth, we've got Fast Cougar in the McLaren. And in ninth, we've got Vetterdan in the Vet. And 10th, we've got Root in the Genesis. In 11th, we've got Wade in the Ferrari. And in 12th, we've got C-Dubs in the Genesis. And in 13th, we've got McNaughty in the Lambo. And in 14th, we have Velvet Thunder in the Viper.
Awesome. Awesome. What a race. What a race. That was...
I told y'all, buckle in. That was nuts.
It started off hot, finished hot, couple little lulls in the middle, but overall that was just absolutely incredible. I'm gonna ask both of you guys this to reflect ever so slightly on the race and then give me your racer of the day. We'll start with you, Big Joe. A racer of the split.
To go of the split, yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Wilcox with his strategy. That worked out perfectly for him.
Indeed, indeed. And if it weren't for a slight tap there at the beginning, he because I believe he did end up starting P2 and then going into P3, but that worked great. The early pit stop, you know, taking advantage of a couple others' mistakes, and yeah, Wilcox, excellent. And it's actually, since he wasn't fully able to compete in that last race, in the last round, this is his first race to finish. So well done to Wilcox. Chuck,
He got some important points for Honda.
important points indeed. Yes, Big Joe. And Chuck, what about you, sir?
I'm gonna have Bobagito. I know he's our race winner, but it, really spoke to me that, he was able to maintain his strategy. He avoided all the drama at the beginning, and having started from pole position, and he was able to make it work for him, and he took the win.
Indeed, indeed. I'm gonna go for one who, we really didn't talk about too much except for right there at the end, and that's Papa Oso. I believe they gained the most positions out of any driver. They started P8, ended up P5. So really good on Papa Oso to move up, have a quiet race, but get in there and get some solid points for Lamborghini. Well, that will conclude Split 1. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I know I did. We do have another split coming up. It's going to be Split 3, and it is going to be a treat. I'm going to step away from the microphone, I believe, and we'll get Tussenbox in here during our break. Big Joe and Chuck will be back with y'all for the next race. So I know we look forward to seeing y'all there. Don't go anywhere, please. Hang out. This is a good time to, use the bathroom, refresh your beverage, get a snack, all those things. And again, a reminder, if you're interested in the PHG World Series, there is a link pinned in the chat. Please click on that. Check it out. Sign up. You can still sign up. We have some new drivers making their debuts this week. I only raced in one race, but I signed up just because I wanted to race in that spa race. So please do so. Also, if you can, hit that like button, subscribe if you feel so inclined. Also, Mustang Chuck and Big Joe both have YouTube channels. Their channel names are right there on the screen. Go show them some love. Big shout out to Papa, PHG, the proprietor, also Shaggy Doo, for coming up with this event. It is awesome. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back here shortly. Don't go nowhere.
Wheels burn on the track. PHG is where it's at. Roads long and winding, but our team's always grinding. Underneath the starry sky, Victories in our name. We win together. Rain or shine, PHG forever. Crossing the line. Gasoline and fire, chasing every desire. Around the curves we go. Teamwork keeps our flow. Every gear we shift feels like a gift. Speeding down the lane, victory's in our name. We win together, rain or shine. PHG forever, crossing the line. Wheels burn on the track. PHG is where it's at. Roads long and winding, but our team's always grinding. Underneath the starry sky, engines roar, we fly. Sweat beading on our brow. Teamwork's the key right now. We win together. Rain or shine, PHG forever. Crossing the line. Gasoline and fire, chasing every desire. Around the curves we go. Teamwork keeps our flow. Every gear we shift feels like a gift. Speeding down the lane, victories in our name. We win together, rain or shine, PHG forever, crossing the line. Gasoline and fire, chasing every desire. Around the curves we go. Teamwork keeps our flow. Every gear we shift feels like a gift. Speeding down the lane, victory's in our name. We win together, rain or shine. PHG forever, crossing the line.
And welcome back, everyone, to round 6, season 2 of the GT PHG World Series. I am T-Case, and I am joined in the booth by Mustang Chuck Big Joe and Tussum Box, aka Velvet Thunder, who just finished racing. Tussum Box, how are you doing, man?
I'm a little worn out after that race, strangely enough. It was a tough race for the Viper, but I did what I could, and yeah, it didn't quite go our way, and I sort of expected it, but this is this week, and next week is next week, and we're aiming for something better next time.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's a good attitude to have, Custom Box. I've had a few crappy races myself, but I will tell you that I was definitely pulling for you and Better Dan, being the lone two American cars out there, tearing it up at Monza.
Indeed, indeed, and yeah, I mean, it was a multitude of strategies. So your strategy, you started on the mediums, is that correct?
Yeah.
Started on the mediums and going hard. Were you having to fuel save at all, or were you going flat out?
So in my testing and from what my limited research that I did, it looks like you're supposed to shift the Group 4 Viper right when the RPM gauge lights up. And running it that way, the car surprisingly is really fuel efficient. So as long as I didn't over rev the car too much, I was able to comfortably do 18 on the mediums, because it wasn't the tires that was limiting how long the stints were going to be. It was the fuel, because the tires easily could have gone the whole race. So
Wow.
yeah, I set my goal 18 laps, came in for the hards, and then just did the final 2 laps on hards, and yeah, it worked for what I was trying to do, but again, just that Viper just was not able to keep up with the Genesis and some of those other cars.
Yeah, it looked challenging, and I mean, there's really 2 battles on track the whole time, and you were in one of those packs of battling, which had to make for a stressful race. 20 laps around here, so many heavy braking zones. It's a lot to deal with. Real quick, we're gonna tell everybody, for those who are just joining us, we're about to start the second race of the evening, round 3. We just finished split 1, and our race this weekend is here at Monza, the Temple of Speed. They are doing 20 laps. Racing hards and racing mediums are required. All tires are usable, so we'll see people qualifying on the softs. It is 2 times tire wear and 3 times fuel, and they will be using Group 4 machinery of their chosen manufacturer. This is a manufacturer series, so everyone has to stick with the manufacturer they choose, and we're seeing this play out, that some manufacturers are stronger in Group 3, some are stronger in Group 4, and some are very well rounded. I don't know that you could see, Tussum, but the Genesis was not kind on fuel compared to everybody else out there. So they were all definitely struggling a bit more on the fuel. Let's go ahead and take a look at who's going to be racing in this race. Chuck, if you don't mind reading through our split 3 drivers.
Alrighty then. So for our first place in provisional qualifying is Slowpoke Rods from CBR in the Porsche. We've got Evolved next second in the Genesis. In third, we've got Ecstasy in the McLaren. In fourth, we've got Slick SHVR2, fellow VR driver, in the Ferrari. In fifth, we've got Pops, our proprietor, in the McLaren. In sixth, we've got Dirt McGirt from the CBR team in Lamborghini. In seventh, we've got Fernando Button from Beehive Racing in the Chevrolet. In eighth, we've got Mr. Casual in the McLaren. In ninth, we've got KW47 in the Dodge, in the Viper. In 10th, we've got PHG Craig in the Porsche. In 11th, we've got Captain Howdy in the McLaren. In 12th, we've got Iron Fix in the Audi. And in 12th, we've got Punks in the Ford. I'm sorry, that's right. Iron Fix in 12th in the Audi. In 13th, Punks in the Ford. And then in 14th, we've got Nasty in the Ford as well. So My beloved Fords are at the back of the pack, unfortunately.
Well, they still have an opportunity to qualify again, and I am seeing that Captain Howdy unfortunately isn't able to make it, so PHG Jersey is moving up a split, getting into split 3, gonna be racing this evening, and I believe he is in the Toyota Supra, so that'll be our first Supra of the evening. A good mix of cars. We got our first set of Porsches in here, the Mustangs, like you said. We got another Viper. We got Ferrari. So should be a good race. We are lacking some Genesis. I see we only have one with Evolved here in the Genesis. So that's interesting to see. And I'm not seeing him in the lobby. Oh, there he is. He is there. So, yeah, another group of drivers. This is the third split. They get here by qualifying during the week. We usually have 2 nights of qualifying. And based on your qualifying performance, that determines what split you get in. That's what keeps these races so close and so tight. Tussum, the race you were just in, I mean, it was a second between P1 and P14. Could you feel that pressure of everybody being that quick?
Yeah, I expected it after the split qualifier, and to see that it was just as close in the actual qualifier, it was a bit surprising, but at the same time, it wasn't. I qualified about where I expected. And I don't know if you guys saw, but I lost 3 positions on the start because that Viper's first gear is terrible. I think it goes up to like 70 miles an hour, and that thing just bogged down at the start.
Oh, no.
I was frowning as I was starting because I was like, this is just absolutely terrible for me.
We saw some drivers swerve out as if they were trying to get around somebody because it got up to 4, almost 5 wide there on the straight looking back. So that makes sense why that would have happened.
Yep, that was me. They were all swerving around me.
And then there was a bit of an accordion effect going into turn 1, causing some drivers to lose positions. I'm curious to see how these drivers do. Hopefully they were watching and kind of got an idea of how cautious you have to be going into turn 1. Big Joe, do you think we're going to see anything different, or are we going to see pretty much copycat of what we just saw, even though what we just saw did have at least 3 different strategies?
I think we're going to see something that's a little bit closer. I don't think we're going to have a runaway lead in the first race.
Yeah.
I think it might be a little bit closer and a lot more action-packed racing this time.
Yeah, absolutely. And really, there was good action throughout most of it. We had a couple of little clusters, but you're right. Bobagito he already pulled a gap going into turn 1, and then when that little incident happened there, he really just ran away with it. Chuck, based on seeing some cars we haven't seen before, are you expecting any standouts? We know the Genesis is strong. What about some of these other cars or drivers?
I would really, for obvious reasons, look at my name, I would like for the Mustangs to do well. Unfortunately, I am not too I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. I'm not too excited about it because it's probably not going to happen. But
For optimistic.
I really don't know. And yeah, not too optimistic. Thank you. I'm not too optimistic. I think the BOP is still not favoring the Fords as they should. Yes, thank you, Shags. Not too optimistic, but I'm thinking Porsche's always a good pick. Genesis is always a good pick with the current BOP. So that's the 2 that I'm thinking. Mm-hmm. Porsche and Genesis.
And as we say that, qualifying is getting underway. We will switch over and see. And again, you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, we have Lithograph Comics, our current sponsor for the PHG World Series. Big shout out to Lithograph Comics. You can find them on Instagram. We'll take a look here at everybody's livery on the outlap and the Papa's House of Game. Mopar, they do have the Lithograph Comics on their car. Very nice C-dubs. Evolved. We were commenting on this Genesis in qualifying of how much we liked it, me and Sal. What do you guys think about this gold and white?
I honestly think it looks like the gold Power Ranger mask.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. And it looks great.
Yeah, I see that too.
So I like it. I grew up with the Power Rangers, so I like it.
And that brings up to the other thing we talked about last night, or 2 nights ago, is the Power Rangers Mega Mix, where it's all the Power Rangers themes, like Metal Shred Power Rangers, and it's so good. So
I
good.
too grew up with Power Rangers, and black coffee, the only coffee I would ever drink. But the paint scheme, it's definitely eye-catching, but going back to what you guys were saying, is I do remember Power Rangers myself.
Yeah. Papa in the Green Ranger mobile. We got the Papa's House of Games Mountain Dew chromed out. He's going to blind his competitors. Oh, I see a little rainbow leopard on the back of there. That's cute. Looking good. And the McLaren, of course. Another Porsche CBR. Rest in peace. Again, our condolences to the CBR crew and their loss. It's good to see the team rally together like that. Ecstasy also in the McLaren with the Lithograph Comics. So everybody making sure they're getting our sponsor put on their car. Love to see it. As they are now starting their hot laps. We have Dirt McGirt CBR again in loving memory with the roses and the Mexican flag. Rest in peace, Cornbread Mom. BHR Fernando Button in his gold Corvette. Punks, and of course I'm going to be partial to a Gulf livery. I think most of y'all in the booth with me would agree.
Which you are.
Come on, go ahead. Mustang guys, prove me wrong. Love y'all to death.
Slick is going ahead and making a move in qualifying. Slick in the color shift Ferrari. Another Mustang. Ooh, getting squirrely. Coming out of Lesmo 1. Let's see that again.
I think there's no crowd.
Now here they come into Lesmo 1. Are they just too late on the brakes or turn in too early? Yep, did get that late apex. Yep.
In the corner.
Woo, and just narrowly missed Jersey in the Dunkin' Donuts Supra. I believe we skipped over that was Nasty. We got Iron Fix in the Audi TT, Evolved, Craig, and Mr. Casual. So we've looked at all those. As Papa is going to be the first across the line, what kind of time is he going to set? There he goes, and K-Dub immediately takes P1. Then Ecstasy, Slowpoke in P3. Now Slick in P3. Drivers crossing the line. And it looks like K-Dub was benefiting from Papa's stream. So we have not his YouTube stream, but his Slipstream. We have seen that take part in this qualifying. Tussenbox, did you have a partner out there during qualifying, or were you kind of flying solo?
No, I tried. I think I was third on the track behind McNaughty, and I don't remember who was in front of him. And I tried to keep up in the slip for the first couple of laps, but I fell back. McNaughty got a penalty, and I was going to catch up to him, but he let me pass him, and I didn't want to be the one giving him slip, so I pit out of spite.
Yes, we did watch that happen.
And then I tried to keep up. Yeah, I tried to keep up with, I think it was a couple of the CBR guys in the Lambos, but again, I just couldn't keep up. So, yeah, the one lap that I had, it was all solo, just like in split qualifying.
Yeah, because we saw that McNaughty get out of the way, and then you dived into the pits, and we were like, okay, he's the first one hopping in the pits, so that makes sense. It looks like Papa wasn't able to improve. He got out of the way. KW wasn't able to improve. We'll see what Slowpoke CBR, who's getting a lovely slipstream here, coming around Parabolica, and Ecstasy also currently sitting P1 in the slip. Let's see, look how close he's gotten to Papa. Papa getting out of the way. Slowpoke's taking the long way around, which is actually the faster way around. Papa into the pits. And
strategy call there.
Slowpoke, almost a half-second improvement. Very nicely done. Say that again, Chuck?
I was just saying that that's definitely a strategy call by Pops.
Evolved.
Like that.
Using the slipstream of the two drivers ahead, taking P1 by half a second. Looking good. Yes, I'd agree, Chuck. That is. And now Papa's going to come out. He's going to get his out lap. He's going to have fresh tires. And, ooh, as Slick goes too deep into the corner. Let's see what happened with Slick there. Does he just miss his braking point? He's on the inside, and he bails out of it. Whew, he got lucky he did not collect anybody. That was close. And then reverses. Be careful, y'all. So let's ride on board here with Jersey. Going into Lesmo 1. Right on the bumper of PHG Punks in the Mustang. Jersey.
Yeah, I like Punks' paint scheme there.
Yeah. It is very nice. And it looks like Dirt McGirt going to get out of the way, let these two drivers go. And everybody is a lot closer together in this qualifying, that is for sure. As far as physically on track, not quite as close as in time, but as far as being close together on track, as Jersey is way off the pace there, unfortunately. So we'll see if Punks, as they come out of Ascari, if Punks is able to improve. Somebody serving a penalty up ahead. Maybe Jersey hoping.
Yeah, that's the one issue with this type of qualifying is that you can easily get stuck behind another car if they're not quite as fast as you. And yeah, that's part of the reason why I was mostly trying to avoid slip in these qualifying sessions. Just wanted to avoid getting stuck behind someone like this because it looks like Jersey is being held up a bit by Punks.
Yeah, Punk's able to improve, but still stays in P12. And yes, Jersey used a little bit of slip. Now he's going to go up the inside, and he's going to be unleashed into some free air. And it looks like he might be able to take advantage of Fernando up there. When Fernando serves the penalty, that should allow Jersey to catch up a bit and get some slip going into Parabolica. So we'll ride on board with this as he's got two slower drivers behind him, hoping to take advantage of his slipstream. Because that can be a big advantage. I know if I'm sitting in P12 and I know somebody who's much quicker than me is right in front of me, I'm going to just follow them like they're a ghost, and I'm running time trials and use that slipstream. It looks like Mr. Casual does leapfrog Jersey up into P5. I believe Mr. Casual will be joining us in the booth tomorrow as, there's contact between Dirt McGirt and Flux. Oh, and Jersey goes off. Oh, everybody having issues. Let's go back. So you see behind, we'll see Punks and Dirt McGirt come together. There it is, just a slight tap on the rear bumper, another tap, and then what happens to Jersey?
Like, one driver wouldn't move out of the way for the other, so they got moved.
Indeed. That is frustrating because Jersey was up This is the final lap now, and look, Evolve has caught that pack of drivers, Punks, Iron Fix, as they come in. They are sitting P1 by half a second, so I think they're going to be okay. Is Cade Slowpoke's able to improve? Slowpoke's doesn't improve. Mr. Casual, are you able to improve, good sir? Only time will tell. Iron Fix with a 2-minute .979. Slick with a 2-minute. Papa with a 2-minute. What is Mr. Casual going to do as he comes around Parabolica? He will be the last driver across the line. Currently sitting in P7. Papa jumped up to P2 there with that final lap. And he is unable to improve. Wow. That was a very physically close qualifying. A bit stressful, I think.
That was a really competitive lap from Evolve. That would have put him towards the back of the midfield in split one.
Well, and we saw him last week. He was in my race, split 3, and he went from, I think it was P13 to P3, something like that. It was very impressive. They got quick race pace, that is for sure. And in the Genesis, we could see again another runaway just because we know how powerful that car is. But Papa only 2/10 or just under 3/10 behind him, which is very, very impressive. Tussenbox, will you read us through the qualifying results?
All right, so in pole position, we have Evolved in the Genesis G70 with a 159.7. Second spot on the grid is PHG Papa in the McLaren. On the second row, we have CBR Slowpoke, followed behind PHG Ecstasy. On the third row, we have my Viper Brethren, PHG KW, and lining up beside him is PHG Slick. On the fourth row, we have Mr. Casual in the third McLaren, followed by PHG Jersey in the Supra. And P9, there is PHG Iron Fix in the one and only Audi. PHG Nasty rounds out the top 10 on the grid. PHG Craig is in P11. He'll be lining up next to BHR Fernando B. And on the final row, we have PHG Punks and Dirt McGurk from Team CBR.
Awesome. Thank you very much, sir. And, well, it looks like we're going to be treated to another race because, again, P1 through 8 within a second there. So that is very tight. How far down do you think we're going to have to go before we see a hard tire runner, Tussum? What do you think that position cutoff is for starting on the hards?
I'm honestly not sure because I was surprised that so many people in our race started on the hards. I honestly thought starting on the mediums would have been the better play. I am going to say the first hard runner in this lobby is going to be P8.
P8, interesting. Well, we'll hold you to that prediction, and if you're wrong, we will ridicule you relentlessly.
I will say this, though. I started my race in P10, and we saw how crazy that got.
Yeah.
We have a Viper in, I believe it was P5. And that, as I said, that thing does not launch well. So I got a feeling that's going to cause a lot of chaos at launch.
Indeed, indeed. And, I mean, we got the all-wheel drive car on pole. We have another all-wheel drive car all the way in the back, and everybody else is rear-wheel drive. No, except for Iron Fix and the front-wheel drive, so that should be interesting as well. As we wait for them to get started, any final thoughts, Big Joe?
Not really. It's going to be a great race.
Great race indeed. How about you, Chuck?
For me, My thoughts were going towards my Mustang fans, my fellow Ford fans. If it were me, what I would probably try to do is, the Mustangs notoriously drink gas, right? So if it was my strat, I would be tucking into the slipstreams and uh, taking advantages where I can, making passes where I can. Just exploit that slipstream and then, pounce when the time comes.
Indeed, indeed. I think that is sound advice. And big thank you to It's Just Carl for the $4.99. Let's go PHG. Thank you very much, sir. Good to have you here. Yeah, and I'm starting to realize why announcers say draft more than they say slipstream, because as Chuck, you can probably attest, it's kind of hard to say slipstream over and over again.
Yeah, well, it also becomes, because I'm a NASCAR fan, it means the same thing for all y'all down there in the chat. But, me, Pops, a bunch of us in the PHG community are big NASCAR fans. So draft, slipstream means the same thing.
Yep.
But we are, it means the same thing. We're just saying it differently.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it looks like we are about to get started. Let me get everything situated as we start split 3 of round 6 of the PHG World Series Season 2. And they are revving it up. We are on board with Evolved looking back at the pack. Evolved in the Genesis. Papa starting not too far behind in that McLaren. And thank you so much, Bobagito, for the $20 as we are off. Here we go. And look at how fast that Genesis takes off the line. We saw that with Bobagito. We're seeing it again with Evolved, as it looks like Slowpoke Rod CBR is maybe going to try to make a move around the outside as Papa, but no. Oh no, Evolved goes deep and ends up ghosting. Oh, and Papa gets a 1 second penalty. I don't know how, but run away, Papa. Run away. We will go back and take a look at that here in just a moment and see exactly what happened as Evolve just went too deep. It is tricky starting this race. And, oh, man. That is very difficult. And look, Evolve trying to get back by Ecstasy, unable to do so, falling back in. Let's go take a look at this race start. So we can see Evolve just goes way too late on the brakes. Where does Papa ends up cutting right there. And thank goodness for ghosting. And it looked like a little bit of chaos further back. And then everything settled into play. And I do want to read what Bobagito said. He said, thanks, POG. Donation in loving memory of Mrs. Cornbread's mom. So, again, sorry for your losses in the CBR community, as Papa is about to take that 1 second penalty. How far back is that going to put him? As somebody goes wide, way far in the back there.
I think there was contact, too.
And that was Dirt McGirt. Let's see what happened here. As Dirt McGirt comes... Oh, and that was... Oh, my goodness. The two Mustangs come together.
Oh,
and
no.
Dirt McGirt runs wide. Absolute chaos going into Ascari. Absolute chaos. So now we have Slowpoke Rod CBR NP1, followed by Ecstasy, followed by Papa, then Evolved in P4. So Papa loses 1 position, Evolved loses 3 positions, and it looks like Papa is now getting a bit of a run on Ecstasy. Team McLaren, are they going to work together, or are they going to battle it out as they come into the second chicane for the second time? And look at that Viper sitting pretty there in P5 KW, not too far off. And easy on the brakes. I'm sure Evolved is frustrated and wanting to make up those positions, being stuck behind 2 McLarens in that Genesis, which we know is not great on fuel or tires. And Papa runs a little bit wide, and Evolved runs even more wide, but keeps it on the track. That is going to allow for KW to get a run coming out of Lesmo 2. And sure enough, he is able to get the run and get the job done before they make it to Ascari. Let's take a look at that Uno Mas. As you can see, just able to get that run after Evolved's mistake. Nicely done. Way to capitalize. Evolved having a frustrating start to this race. And as I flip through, I don't know if y'all have been paying attention. I certainly have not. Have you seen anybody on the hards? As now KW getting a run on Papa as they go into the final corner. KW is going to be on the outside. Papa on the inside. Slight bit of contact under braking as one understeers and the other tries to go around the outside. KW has to back out of that. That is going to allow Evolved to get a run. And who's Papa going to give his slipstream to? Papa gives his slipstream to KW. Evolved on the inside. Let's see how this plays out as they're going to end up going side by side. A little bit of contact under braking, and Evolved is able to get it slowed down and get ahead of KW before the second part of the chicane. Evolved back up into P4.
Yeah, that was really hard fought from the Viper. Even though he had the slip from Papa, that Genesis, just all that raw power, he was able to stay side by side and was able to attack going into that first chicane.
I agree.
Indeed. Let's go further back, see what action we're missing. We got Slick, P6, Jersey, P7, Casual, P8, all in a line there. And I see Jersey is on the hards, Slick on the mediums, and Mr. Casual also on the mediums. So Jersey definitely on the slower compound of the two, but we do know this Group 4 Supra is fairly strong around here. We'll see if he's able to get by Slick, as it looks like Slick has a little bit of an issue, and now he is going to get overtaken going into Ascari, and Mr. Casual going to try to follow right through. Mr. Casual follows through as well. They get the overtake done before the chicane, and now as they enter, can they keep it clean? Slick just there. Oh, and Jersey runs a bit deep. Now Slick, and now a yellow flag is out. Yellow flag is out. Slick runs wide. Who is that up ahead? Oh, no, it is Papa.
Yep. They got to be careful with those yellow flags. I'm a little surprised there wasn't
There's
any
no
penalties
penalty.
because it looks like there was
Give it a second. Give it a second.
Yeah, that was tight. We're going to take a look at this again.
Yeah,
Yep, there it is. Who was that with the penalty? Craig with the penalty. That could be a track limits penalty, though. I do want to see what happened to Papa. Let's go back and take a look at this. As Papa comes into Ascari, runs a little deep. Comes out. Is he going to run wide? Ecstasy runs wide. Oh! And you hate to see it. And then further back, here's what we had here. As Slick also runs wide. Further back, we got 1 second penalty. Fernando about to... Wow. Wow.
Did I hear you earlier? You said that Jersey is on the hard tire?
Yes, I believe that is correct. He is on the hard,
All
the
right,
others on the
and
mediums.
You know what place he started in?
Jersey, I have it.
It was P8.
It was P8, so he's making that
So my
work for
prediction
him.
was accurate.
He's making that work for him. Indeed.
Lux, I'm with you 100%. If Ford can't make it, Team Porsche.
So what lap is Jersey pitting for mediums?
Honestly, I don't know. Like, I'm not familiar with the tire wear, the fuel wear on that Supra, but a lot of the non-Genesis cars were able to push until like at least like lap 17. I think most of the drivers in our split put on 18. I guess he's still going just to try to make sure he's got enough tire to last that second stint. But I'd imagine he's going to try to get off of those tires as soon as possible.
Indeed. He's got Mr. Casual pushing him along right now. Mr. Casual on the mediums. And another thing with the grid as tight as it is, it's kind of hard to abandon the slipstream that you're in and the bump drafting you're in, because you know as soon as he pits, he's going to be all alone.
Because I think he might be the only driver who elected to start.
Ooh,
on
and
the
he
hards.
runs
I didn't
wide.
see any
Way
other.
wide.
He's not going to be able to pit even if he wanted to. It's Mr. Casual now taking advantage of that. We'll look back through the grid here as they come down the straight. I'm only seeing mediums between these drivers. As our hard runner Fernando in the pits and Craig in the pits. And there's our two Mustangs who had that unfortunate coming together earlier on in this race as we start lap 5.
So the thing is, even if he pits now, he's still going to be, several seconds ahead of the other two hard runners. So he's probably just going to, he might just be better off staying out at this point because he seems to be able to keep up with Mr. Casual on the medium tires. So I don't know. I think at this point, it might be best for him to stay out on those hards.
Indeed, and Evolve just had a beautiful move going into the second chicane here. You see he's got the slipstream. He takes the inside, able to get ahead before they even get there and get it done nice and clean. Very good exit. Nothing that SSE can do. Evolve back up into P2. Well done after that first turn incident of completely missing his braking point. But I agree with you, Tyson. I think, he is comfortable there. He being Jersey seems to be comfortable and able to push just fine on those hards.
Also didn't notice until just now, but Evolved is also on the hard tire.
That would make a lot of sense why he struggled braking into turn 1. We saw that with Cornbread as he came out of the pits in the Mazda on the hard. He completely outbroke himself and lost him that podium position. As here they start lap 6 of 20 on the racing hard, so he'll need to pit at some point. Maybe he's going to run that fuel down a little bit more, as we know the Genesis does struggle on fuel life, and he wants to make sure he can get to the end of the race. And it looks like more netcode than anything. Evolved able to hold on to P2. It didn't look like Evolve's car moved at all, and we can see SSE's car kind of bouncing around a little bit there. So I'm going to chalk that up to netcode because it didn't seem to do anything. But that has allowed KW to gain a little bit there on Ecstasy in the Viper on the mediums.
Yeah, he's doing really well to stick with this group. All I can do is, if I was him, I would just stick in that slip.
Ooh,
He doesn't have to
Ecstasy.
fuel save a lot.
Yeah, he doesn't have to fuel save a lot. Ecstasy with a half-second penalty, as well as Papa with a half-second penalty. Race unraveling for Papa, unfortunately, at the moment. But as we saw in your race, Tussim, it is a long race, and a lot of position changes can happen. I see in the chat, Turbo is guessing Evolve's going to pit around lap 7. We'll see if Turbo is right on that one, as Jersey is under a lot of pressure from Slick.
I was gonna say,
And ooh, a little bit of contact there. Jersey gets bumped into the gravel. That is unfortunate.
No.
Ecstasy going to go on through. Ecstasy also going to serve a penalty. Or no, that was Papa. Did Ecstasy go through? We'll get a replay of that here. It looked like a little bit of contact here in the braking zone. Did I say Ecstasy? I meant Slick. I got my mid-engine cars confused. Yep, there it is. Slick wasn't prepared for Jersey to brake. Good on Slick for slowing up, letting Jersey go as Papa gets through. So excellent sportsmanship from Slick. He saw that he made the mistake there. Unfortunately, that cost Jersey some positions as Evolved goes into the pits at the end of lap 6. And we start lap 7. So that puts
I think the
slow.
gravel
We're all
had to
about
do with that
here
decision.
Say that again, Joe?
All about here.
Instead, I think the gravel had a lot to do with that decision.
Indeed, indeed. And what were you saying, Chuck?
Oh, I was just say that that's what we're all about here at Team PHG, and the people who join up in our leagues is sportsmanship, man. You know, you make a mistake, own it.
Absolutely. As SSC now P2, KW, P3 as they go into Lesmo 1, and Mr. Casual making his way up there in P4, but unfortunately does have himself a half-second penalty. How far away?
I wonder if something happened to... Ooh, almost lost it. Held on to it pretty well there.
Yes, and that's going to allow KW. Go ahead, Tussum.
Yeah, I was going to say, if something happened to P2 and P3, because they were only about 6 seconds ahead, or behind Slowpoke. Now that gap's almost up to 10 seconds now. Mr. Casual, who's actually about to serve a half-second penalty.
Yes, I believe that is that issue that happened with Papa and Ecstasy. Both had a wiggle coming out of Ascari. That crashed Papa. KW was further back fighting with Evolved, and so I think that had allowed them to catch up and allow Slowpoke to move ahead. I think that's what happened. It's hard to say. So now KW up into P1, Mr. Casual in P4. Papa, considering he spun out there, is in P5, only 6 seconds back from Casual and gaining. He does have Iron Fix less than a second behind. Iron Fix also on the mediums in the front wheel drive Audi. And there goes Jersey into the pits at the end of lap 7. So all of our hard runners have pitted now. We had 2 at the beginning, and then Jersey and Evolve pitting recently. So now it's how long can these drivers make their fuel and their mediums last before pitting onto the hards.
Yeah, like we saw in the previous race, I think the limiting factor is really going to be the fuel for most cars. Because most of these Group 4 cars, they seem to be really gentle on their tires compared to Group 3. Mm-hmm. And plus, this is a relatively low tire wear race. It's only at a 2X for tires here. And another thing to keep in mind is that Monza, it just doesn't use the tires all that much. There's, I think, like 6 braking zones in this track, which is low when you compare it to the other circuits. So yeah, I mean, it's a very little tire wear here. Mostly it's just going to be fuel that limits how long these stints are.
And speaking to that, TK, can you go back to the Mustangs and see what their fuel load is looking like right now?
Yes, so they're looking at half a tank of fuel.
They're drinking gas. So I got a feeling that's probably what they're doing. What I was suggesting earlier is tucking in someone's draft and save some gas to make a benefit in the future themselves.
Indeed. We go back up here, battle for P. Well, I guess now it's a battle for P3 as KW has pulled away, and Mr. Casual, our fellow broadcasting commentator, all over the back of his McLaren teammate of Ecstasy. So we got McLaren 3, 4, and 5 right now. Going to be some good points for McLaren if they can bring this one home, as we see Iron Fix still being on the back of Papa, but Mr. Casual has been able to pull away from Papa a little bit, about half a second now of what he was earlier, and really is applying the pressure to Ecstasy. Mr. Casual, somebody who we know to have very, very good race pace, sometimes struggles in qualifying, ends up kind of being out of split based on qualifying, but when it comes to race pace, he is solid.
Yeah, I'm curious to know how those McLarens are doing. I'm not familiar with their Group 4 bot, but they just don't seem to have overall pace around here. Because, as you said, I kind of anticipated more from Mr. Casual, but yeah, maybe he's just struggling in that Group 4 McLaren.
It is good on tire. It's not terrible on fuel, but yeah, I think the top end and in the Group 4 just isn't quite there. kind of like what we see with the Porsche and the BMW as well. Though there are some BMWs in split too, so. And some Porsches, I believe. So they come in towards the end
An
of
Alpha in
lap
split
9.
2.
Say that again?
And an Alpha in split 2.
And an Alpha in split 2. And in split 4.
Well, there's 2 of them in split 4.
Shout out Big Joe, Alpha driver extraordinaire. And is Mr. Casual gonna make a move here? It looks like he is. So he's got the inside and the overspeed. Is he gonna hit the braking zone? Yes, he gets the first apex. He gets the second apex. He gets on the throttle, a little bit of wheel spin, and that is up to P3 for Mr. Casual. 2 seconds behind KW in the Viper ahead. And much
Nice
like
chicane by Mr. Casual.
very nice chicane. Is SSC able to fight back going into the second chicane? He looks a little far back, but all it takes is one late lunge. No, he thinks better of it and continues on. We'll go further back and see how Papa's faring. The half-second penalty and iron fix right there on the back of him. That should allow iron fix through when Papa serves his penalty. Then we got Slick and the Mustangs not much further behind. Looks like the Mustangs are continuing to work together to make up for the contact they had in Ascari earlier on in this race.
Here you go, boys. Work together.
And,
Go.
and Evolved not too far behind them. I'm kind of surprised Evolved hasn't made much progress with the 2 Mustangs. I wonder if they're doing a little bit of fuel saving just to guarantee they don't run out. Doesn't look like it as he revs that sucker out. And trying to make way. I guess the one saving grace he has is he knows that all those people in front of him still have to pit. He's 32 seconds off the lead, and a pit stop we determined was around 24 seconds. So he is off of P1, that is for sure. He may be able to catch P2 and P3, but I don't think so. He's going to have to make some moves here and get through this traffic.
Yeah, his one saving grace is that he's going to be on the better tire towards the end of the race. But if the cars up ahead, if they're, extending their medium stint up until 16, 17, lap 18, he's going to have to get a move on now to try to overtake them as they come out of the pits.
And something happened to Mr. Casual because he has now fallen back to P4 as to see back up into P3. And they both are losing time to KW. Go back on board with Papa. Just a comfortable enough gap to not get lunged, but still enough to have that car in his mirror. And I think, it is helpful to know that it's a PHG driver behind him, I'm sure. Nobody wants to be on the proprietor's bad side.
You had mentioned...
I would agree with that.
When we're talking about Evolved, he actually just set the fastest lap at a 2:06.73. It was only about a tenth faster than the previous fastest lap that was set by KW, a 2:07. So he's starting to get a move on, but he's gonna.
Yep, and oh
no!
Here, Tussum, I'm gonna do this replay. I want you to tell us what happens here. We're right on board with.
All right, so we are looking through Evolved's eyes, Nasty into Lesmo 2. Oh, no, it was Papa, sorry. Yeah, it looks like he just carried a little bit too much speed. Really good avoidance from the other Mustang and Evolved to avoid any further contact. Yeah, like Lesmo 2, it's a very important corner because it leads to a high-speed straight. So that exit speed is really important, and he just carried just a tad too much speed and had a couple tires in the dirt, and it was game over after that.
Very unfortunate for Punks. And then as Nasty serves his penalty, that clears the traffic. And as you had pointed out earlier, Evolve did set the fastest lap. So he is on a move. He's now cut that lead down to 31 seconds. So that's 4 seconds in one lap that he has cut to Slowpoke. That's incredible. He is moving. So either he's listening or he doesn't need to listen because he knows what he's doing, as Kimi Räikkönen would say. And he's just going to keep on keeping on. Hopefully he can avoid any more mistakes as he has Slick now in his sights, 3.5 seconds ahead. We'll go back up towards the front and see what's going on there. KW still in P2, SSC P3, Mr. Casual P4, as Papa has now caught up to Mr. Casual, only 1.8 seconds behind. Iron Fix 1.9 seconds back. We are on lap 12, coming towards the end of that lap. In that tricky part that we've talked about, you want to use all the track, but if you go too wide there, as we saw from Punks, you can just spin your car right around.
I'm looking at Papa's lap times, and his last lap was a 2:09, which is really good for 11-lap-old mediums in that McLaren. I don't know. It's like I think based off of certain performances that the McLaren isn't that great, but I mean Papa's showing it what it can do, and he might be within striking distance. So if Mr. Casual within a few laps, if he can keep up that pace.
This will be an incredible recovery. It'll be interesting to see when Papa, Casual, SSC serve their pits where they are in relation to Evolved. Because Evolved, did start on pole. Papa started P2. They both had their share of incidents. And now it's that part of the race where everybody kind of spreads out a little bit. And then they'll all come back together in the final laps after everybody serves their pits and we see these strategies play out. Evolved has now closed the gap to just over 2 seconds to Slick. Slick not having pit yet on those mediums is going to now under 2 seconds. So it is coming down rapidly. Slick in the Ferrari. We haven't seen too many of those Group 4 Ferraris out here. I believe we only had one last race. And Nasty is 4 seconds behind. I guess we can go check out what's going on in the back with Jersey. 4 seconds catching Punks. Jersey having already pitted. Punks not having the race that they would want. But welcome Punks. I believe they are fairly new to the PHG crew. PHG is always growing. Real quick, if you haven't done so already, check that link pinned in the chat. That is the link to the Papa's House of Game website. All the information about PHG, about this league, as Jersey now able to go up the inside and get it done on the straight up into P10. Go check out the website, get involved. It's a lot of fun. It is a great community.
I just feel really bad for the current bop on things. And Fords in general. We did get a good bump in bop recently, just not enough.
So SSC
competitive
in the pits because of fuel. So he had to pit earlier than either Mr. Casual or Papa. So SSC was just burning fuel. I'm surprised to see that because he was on empty when he went into the pits. So clearly difference in strategy as far as fuel consumption goes here from Mr. Casual and Papa, as they are all in the same car.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised to see that, but I guess maybe that's how you're supposed to drive the McLaren. Maybe you're supposed to rev it out, and I don't know if that's part of his strategy. He'll have to try to make up some ground on those hard tires, because he did seem like he had the most pace compared to some of the front runners, but we'll see. Still Still got a few laps left. Anything can happen at this point.
Absolutely, yeah. A bit early of a pit stop. I'm not sure on the McLaren either. As we look in the background, Nasty does have a penalty. So Evolved is looking at Slick. Slick's not going to have to pit anytime soon. So Evolved will have to make this pass on track because he's less than a second away instead of making it in the pits. But I think he won't have any trouble based on how he's gaining. Now almost 6/10 behind Slick. I can see a move happening going into turn 1. Take a look at the chase cam, see if Evolve can get close enough going into T1. He's now half a second, and he's going to get a very nice run using that all-wheel drive system, the power of the Genesis. Now 4/10. I don't think he's going to be close enough to make the send. And no, he is not.
I quite close enough.
Not quite close enough, but that could allow for the second chicane. We'll see what the exits look like. Oh, as Evolve runs a little wide there in the gravel, but still able to keep it in that half second. And I do see here in chat, Moose is saying Group 4's McLaren, you shift at 50%. So I think it's a natural fuel saver, whereas maybe S2C was really pushing it. And Evolved, again, not close enough. This is oh so tight. He's now with under 4/10, almost 3/10 going into Lesmo 1. And you can see
Ferrari,
that,
I didn't know, but it seems like it's got really good speed down the straights. Like even in a slip, Evolved only gains, I think it wasn't even 2/10 in the main straight.
Indeed. And now here it is. Here it is. What's going to happen?
Yep.
Says goodbye there on the straight. Hopefully he does not miss his braking point going into Ascari. But look at the under braking and in the car. It looks like that Ferrari does have really good rotation as well, getting good corner exits. Because Slick is coming right back at him. Now Parabolica isn't the best option for an overtake, as we see Slick does go ahead and just give Evolved a little bump. I think Slick, knowing that's not his race, as Iron Fix now comes into the pits due to fuel in P5. He was applying the pressure to Papa up there. So Papa in P4, Evolved back up into P5, Slick staying tight on the bumper of Evolved. But I don't think he's going to go for it. I think he's going to use Evolved. Oh, no, he has to, because Evolved braked a little before he thought he was going to, and ends up sending it up the inside. And I got to say, for a last-minute move, that was pretty clean. Very nicely done, but it looks like Evolve's going to get another chance going into the second chicane. No. Slick stays ahead, but Evolved has the grip on the inside. Slick will be on the inside for the chicane. Slick is slightly ahead. No, he tucks back in. And I think that wasn't an intentional overtake going into that first chicane. What do you think, Tussum?
Yeah, I think he wasn't expecting Evolve to brake as early as he did, and then just quickly moved out the way. It happens a lot here. It even happened to me in my race. I went down the inside of a couple people, mostly accidentally, but I made it look like I knew what I was doing on my stream, but I absolutely didn't.
Well, Slick made it look like he knew what he was doing. That was a last-minute lunge and clearly got caught out. Wasn't looking to fight. Evolve gets back through, and hopefully Slick can just stay along with them, use that slipstream to his advantages. He looks like he only has maybe one more lap of fuel left in that Ferrari, as we see slow pokes into the pits. That should elevate KW, unless KW pits here. Nope, KW's got one more lap of fuel on him. Mr. Casual follows suit, having even more fuel. So here will be a lap led for Team Viper and KW if he can hold on and not let Mr. Casual through. Papa back up into P3 will have to pit at the end of this lap as well, as Slowpoke CBR comes out ahead of Evolved, but in sight of Evolved. So things are spicing up. This is looking like Evolved may be back up into P2 when everything is said and done.
KW, he's had really good pace so far in that Viper. I'm really hoping he can maybe scrounge up a podium in this race and make the Viper look better than I did in my race.
Well, there were times that you made the Viper look very good, Tussum. But yes.
I tried.
The times we were seeing you, it wasn't until the end. And then we didn't really see you. And we're like, oh, okay. But there was plenty of time you were making it look good. But yes, so far, KW's making this thing look real good. And I'm very impressed again with Papa able to recover. It's so easy to get discouraged after something like that happened. So it was the end of lap 1 or lap 2 that happened. And I mean, it's so easy to just spiral out of control. So him being back up into P3, though I don't think it'll be a net P1 or P2 where he started, it's definitely a positive recovery here, as I believe we will see KW, Mr. Casual, and Papa all go into the pits. So we'll hop back with Slowpoke Rods, who is on his outlap with Evolved just under 3 seconds behind him. So with 13 seconds off the lead, that's going to allow Slowpoke easily back into the lead. We'll see. Oh, Mr. Casual stays out for one more lap. Mr. Casual and Papa staying out for another lap. Okay, they're going to keep on going. A little surprising. KW in the pits, Evolved up, Slick in the pits. Where is Jersey going to come out? Is he going to leapfrog Slick here as KW comes out in P5, looking very good. Jersey coming across the start finish line to start lap 18. Slick still in the pits. Slick coming out of the pits, and no, he loses 2, maybe even 3 positions. Yes, he loses position to Ecstasy as well. So going back up front with Mr. Casual, 5.6 seconds ahead of Papa. I wonder if Papa had some type of incident, because he wasn't that far off Mr. Casual when we left. He's got a good gap on Slowpoke. So no, Mr. Casual has actually put distance between himself and Slowpoke. Mr. Casual pushing it on this final end lap, which is exactly what you want to do on an end lap, is to give it everything. It will be interesting as Evolved is now within 2 seconds of Slowpoke. Slowpoke on very fresh hards. Evolved on slightly worn mediums. So Evolved with the tire advantage. Only 3 laps remaining. Could easily get ahead of Slowpoke. But we'll have to wait and see.
I think if he keeps this pace up, he should be able to get around him. He'll just have to keep it clean and just make that pass as soon as possible. I suspect towards the end of next lap. And actually, I think he might have to make his move on the final lap, because he's not quite within slipstream range just yet. But again, that gap went from 3 seconds to just under 1.5 seconds.
Indeed, and Casual and Papa in the pits. You see Papa at 0% of fuel, so I wonder if that gap was due to needing to conserve a little bit of fuel to make it around that one last time. Mr. Casual able to come out in P3, having a heck of a race, and there's KW. Just a second. Gets the braking right coming out of the pits. Oh, KW goes a little deep but keeps it on the track. It is on for P3. Papa in P5. And Jersey not too far behind in P6. We're going to go back up to this battle for the lead, because now Evolved is within a second. Take a little chase cam action. As we watch Evolve just creep, you can see the gold glinting in the sunlight. Just applying the pressure.
Evolve got a really good run out of Lesmo too. He's gonna get a really good slip coming out of that corner approaching Ascari. He might wait before Ascari because that's not the greatest overtaking opportunity. Slowpoke's gonna have to hit the brakes a little bit earlier than Evolved. Around Ascari they go. Slowpoke's get a bit sideways.
Oh no!
Oh, he's hold it. No, he spun in the final corner of Ascari. I think he ended up backwards. Yeah, he's gonna try to get the car turned around.
Watch this again, and you're right. He's got to brake. He's got to. And what does he do? Does he take too much curb? Yep, too much inside curb there.
Yep.
Overcorrects. Yep. Oh, you hate to see it. Oh, you hate to see it. Oh, oh man. Let's see where that puts him.
I was talking about earlier. You take too much inside curb. Back end will step out on you.
You know, it could have been worse. He could have fallen down more. He's still ahead of Papa. Papa still in P5 and is still got a podium potentially as he is battling with KW47. KW taking the inside here. Going into the first chicane. Slowpoke has more speed. Late on the brakes is KW. But no, Slowpoke very nicely done around the outside, which becomes the inside. Gets it done. That was a beautiful move by Slowpoke, but will he be able to hold on to it going into the second chicane? KW trying to do something to get by, stay in his slipstream. What is going to happen here? Is Slowpoke going to go defensive? He kind of keeps it middle of the road. No moves made, and they keep it clean going through the second chicane. Let's go back and look at this overtake here. We look at Slowpoke there on the outside. KW initially brakes later, but needs to get it slowed down to be on the inside. And Slowpoke is able to keep his car ahead. Very nicely done.
It looked like Slowpoke actually released the brakes so that he can get his car stuck around the outside.
Around the outside, yeah. Realizing he broke too early, released a little bit, almost went too deep, but was able to keep it on the track and keep himself ahead. And he look at this, Evolved is up into P1, 10.6 seconds ahead. This is the final lap, the final turn of the final lap. He went from P1 to P4.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Once again, Genesis dominates.
Genesis dominates, and there it is. With Mr. Casual, barely any fuel left, up into P2 in the McLaren, taking advantage of a couple mistakes that were made. Slowpoke coming in with the podium, well done, followed closely by KW. Then Papa with a great recovery in P5, Jersey in P6. And then we got the battle between Iron Fix and Ecstasy. It's going to be a drag race. Iron Fix, Ecstasy, Iron Fix, Ecstasy. It is Ecstasy. Well done. Then we have further back Fernando Button, NP10, Craig, NP11. Tough race for the Mustangs and Dirt McGirt. Ooh-wee.
Sad.
Ooh-wee. That was an exciting race all the way around, I must say.
Yeah, that was a good one.
There we have it. Victory by Evolved. Big Joe, will you read us through the standings here?
Absolutely. In first place, we got Evolved. Second place, we got Mr. Casual. Third place, we've got Slowpoke Rods. In fourth place, we got KW47. In fifth place is the proprietor, Papa. Sixth place is Jersey. Seventh place is S to C. Eighth place is Iron Fix. Ninth place would go to Slick. Rounding up the top 10 is Fernando Button. 11th, we got Craig. And 12th, we got Nasty. 13th, we got Dirk McGurk. And in 14th, we got Punks.
Woo! Woo! That was 2 epic races. Makes me excited for tomorrow as well. I mean, we saw a lot. We saw, again, there's 2 strategies, but they can play out in multiple ways just depending on how long each driver wants to push it. Let's real quick reflect on this race and give our driver of the split. We'll start with you, Tussum.
So I am giving my driver of the split, you guys probably already know, to KW. He did an amazing job in that Viper. Just shy of the podium. But I mean, he kept it clean. He kept himself in the right position and almost was able to take advantage of somebody spinning out from the podium position. So yeah, kudos to KW. He did well today.
Excellent. Excellent. Yes. Very, very nicely done. How about you, Chuck?
Yeah, I've got to give it to Pops for recovering from the mistake that was made earlier. Side shout out to Slowpoke, because Porsche is my favorite European brand. So went in with a P3. Those would be my 2 drivers for the race. That's one.
On. And you, Joe?
We're going to have to go with our fellow announcer, Mr. Casual.
Yes. I agree 100%. Y'all, Casual started P7. P7. Yep. Finished P2. That was beautiful. I agree with you 100%, Joe, on that one. And well done to all of our drivers. That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. We got 2 more races tomorrow, with splits 2 and 4. Big Joe, you're going to be racing in that. Are you looking forward to it?
I think it's going to be a fun race.
Indeed. Did you learn anything? Are you going to change anything of what you're planning on doing, or you just going to run it like you were?
I'm just going to wing it like I always do.
Sounds about right. I love your consistency, Joe. I'm a big fan. Tussum Bucks, you got this one out of the way. It's done. Are you going to be? Are you looking forward to tomorrow?
Yeah, I can't wait to see what tomorrow's drivers got in store. I mean, they got a lot of intel to go off of today. We'll see if they make any adjustments based off of what they see. But yeah, it should be just as exciting as what we saw earlier today. I can't wait.
Indeed. And Chuck, are you around tomorrow, or you got stuff you got going on, don't you?
Yeah, I think I got some things going on. My wife wants to go see her horse in the morning, and then maybe a pool day, and then we gotta pack up for our vacation on. So,
awesome.
Yeah, I doubt I'll be around.
Well, enjoy that. Enjoy the horse time, the pool time, and enjoy that vacation. It sounds like you need it.
Yeah, we do appreciate it. We both definitely do. My wife and I both.
Awesome. Well, we wish y'all a very, very good time. We're going to wrap things up tonight. Again, if you're interested in the PHG World Series, link pinned in the chat. Click on that. You can still sign up. You can do one race. You can do all the races that are left. Just go on there, check it out. It is a lot of fun. We do qualifying during the week. That qualifying time puts you in your split, and that's how we get these amazingly incredible close races all the way through. Not to mention all the thought and work Shaggy has put into this to make sure that there's more than one strategy, more than one way for it to go. It makes for very, very fun racing. Big thanks to Shaggy. I also want to say thank you to Salamander. for doing a lot of the behind the scenes work on the production side as far as overlays and scenes go. Mr. Pablo Chacon, Petey, for putting together some really great graphics. My fellow commentators, Tussenbox, Big Joe, Chuck, Toon, who did that fantastic recap video that we saw at the beginning, letting us know what happened in the previous round. Hopefully that is something that's going to continue. If y'all haven't done so already, please click that like and subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. I'll be bringing y'all the broadcast again tomorrow. So click that little bell button and it'll remind you that it's coming. As you can see on the screen, Tussenbox streams on Twitch. Go check him out on Twitch. He's got a great channel. The Big Joe Variety Show on YouTube. Big Joe does more than just Gran Turismo. Mustang Chuck also on YouTube. He does some cool karting stuff as well as Gran Turismo. We all got cool stuff going on. Show your support. PHG, great racers, better people. And I can't leave without saying Lithograph Comics is not a store, but rather a comic book enthusiast bringing awareness to the hobby and the comic book collecting community. Located on Instagram, you'll find Greg, aka Litho, sharing comic book history, stories, and his personal collection spanning a 35-plus year comic book journey. That's Lithograph Comics on Instagram. They are sponsoring this league. If y'all are into comics, go check them out. Show them some love. That's going to be it for me. I'll let Big Joe sign off for himself.
Thanks for watching, everybody. See you all tomorrow.
And Mustang Chuck.
Thanks for watching, everybody, once again.
And
Hang out and hit that like and subscribe button.
absolutely. And you too, Tussenbox. Let you say goodnight.
Guys, can't even say my own outro. Please help control the box population. Have your boxes crushed and recycled.
Crush those boxes, recycle them as well. And that just leaves one last thing to say, and that's game over, man. Game over.
Oh man, game over.